Like at one point there were a lot of people. It's so small. That's true, but...
Hey Mike, it's Jeff Eller. Sorry I didn't call you sooner. I've been on a retreat this weekend and been out of communication. I would like to pass on the Tuesday, but I appreciate the call, Mike. If you do have an emergency, I would consider helping out, but if not, I'll pass. Thanks, Mike. I hope you have a good day. Bye. That's your dad? That's your daddy? Yeah, you like daddy? Yeah. Daddy's all right. He's a conductor. Yeah. Be loud enough. In the chorus. Yeah, really? Wow. So she's got that music here. Hey, Ben. Good. Jack, nice to see you. Good to see you.
call?
So do you guys play with the cycle this morning, or what they do?
Neither because the head didn't get molested.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 117th Founders Day. I'd ask you all please to rise for the national anthem, which will be led by the traveling men, and then to please remain standing for the invocation by Dr. John Moseshek.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let us pray. Divine source of all light and blessing, come, be our light as we gather now to celebrate this class of 2014. A class generously reflecting your light as scholars and athletes and artists, as scientists and poets, as builders and dreamers. A class richly nourished in the light and love of so many who made this day possible. Parents and teachers, brothers and sisters, coaches and siblings, families and friends. A class now ready to take the light of honor, humility, excellence, respect, and integrity into our world as sons of Gilman. Come, be with us now, for in you we pray. Amen.
Thanks, Dr. Moseshek. Please have a seat. All right. There's water underneath. You got water. Okay. Again, I want to welcome everyone to Founders Day. A particular welcome to faculty and staff, to members of the Board of Trustees, to Mr. Paul McBride in his last graduation as president of the board, and Ms. Eva Turner in her last graduation as head of the upper school. And finally, of course, a welcome to the gentlemen of the class of 2014 and their family and loved one and friends with us today. About 6-8 years ago, David Brooks, an author and New York Times columnist, wrote a column in the Times entitled "Of Love and Money." And in the column, Brooks looked at the growing income inequality in the United States, and it led him in his examination to emphasize education as a way of closing the income gap and its importance in developing the skills that students will need in the real world in order for them to be able to close that gap. And in the editorial, he cited the work of a UCLA psychiatrist named Daniel Siegel, who made a link or makes a link between the emotion and the central organizing process in the brain. In the column, Brooks concludes, kids learn from people they love. If we want young people to develop the social and self-regulating skills they need to thrive, we need to establish stable, long-term relationships between love-hungry children and love-providing adults. Guys in the class of 2014, take a look out there. If you don't hear anything else from me today, understand that you're here because you're loved. At the senior parent breakfast at the beginning of the year in August, I explained to these guys my basic hopes. And fellows, my basic hopes for you as you entered your senior year. And that hope primarily was that you use senior year and you are able during senior year to experience personal and shared moments of reflection and projection. That you take time to take stock of where you've been and where you're heading. And I've seen this group share those moments. I've also seen it come together in ways it had not as underclassmen. Simply put, there's something special about senior year, and I think you've captured it and you've grabbed it. When I look at this group, my main takeaway and the thing I will always hold with me is the way in which you have taught us that there can be great joy in celebrating each other just for each other's sake. And I've cited often over the course of the year a few different events that capture that really well. The storm in the pool during the water polo season. The It's Academic tailgate that will still go down, I think, in history for me as one of the greatest Gilman events we've ever had. And then in defeat and in victory in athletics, you've stood by your teammates, you've stood by your schoolmates and classmates and celebrated each other. And for that, I'm most appreciative. So then we get to today and your time to graduate. It was Thursday, I think. I ran into Williams Peters outside of Eddie's. Where is Williams? So I ran into Williams outside of Eddie's, and in typical Williams subtlety, he said, "Well, Mr. Smyth, I hope that our graduation will be the best thing ever." And Williams, with all due respect, I hope actually that this graduation is not the best thing ever. Okay? And I'll explain. Don't get me wrong. You're finishing high school and moving on from here is a very, very significant event. And it might be, and perhaps it should be, the biggest moment of your life to date. But as strange as it may sound, and maybe it won't sound strange if I explain it well, my hope for you is that this is not the biggest moment of your life. And I know that there are parents and guardians in the audience who would argue that your coming into the world 18 or 19 years ago might just eclipse their own graduations as a particularly large moment. So as big as this moment is, my hope for you is that there are many bigger and better things in store for you down the road. My hope is that you take with you from Gilman the experiences, relationships, understanding, and skills to make the most of life as you move through it. My hope is that, as yesterday's reading from Carl Sandburg encourages you to do, you use every possible tool and situation for the advancement of the great cause. You make a slight effort every day or so at inaugurating a civilization that lays emphasis on the soul as the best man. My hope is that because of your Gilman education, you continue to grow as human beings so that 5, 15, 50 years from now, you're even more complete, fulfilled, interesting, and interested than you are even today. And so that your marks on our world are even greater and more lasting. I've spoken a lot over the last few days in various ceremonies about our job as educators to prepare students to move on. It's also been the job of your parents and guardians. So we all gather here today to witness and celebrate the fact, gentlemen, that you are indeed ready to move on. And we congratulate you for it. Every year at this time, we hear from one of the members of the graduating class. And it is my pleasure to introduce to you today the valedictorian for this year. And please join me in welcoming to the podium Timur Daniel Guler.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to start by thanking everyone who came out here today to help us celebrate Gilman's 114th Founders Day. Mr. Smyth, Ms. Turner, trustees, faculty from the lower, middle, and upper school, siblings, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, the underclassmen who could make it today, and everyone else in attendance. Boys, give them a round of applause. All of us sitting here today are about to embark on the greatest adventure of our lives. Very soon, we'll leave our little haven in Roland Park. Most of us will even leave the state of Maryland. There'll be some adjustments, sure. As you all know, Nashville ain't Baltimore. But I personally can't wait for the big wide world out there to get to know us. Every single one of these 113 incredible young men. You see, some schools can boast a multi-sport varsity athlete, a world-class pianist, a math superstar, and a future Ivy Leaguer, but at Gilman, that's just one guy. Take a bow, Richard Chin. Now, as a class, we chose to do things our own way, and we might have upset a little people in the process, but you see, we're the kids who lined up on the football field in 8th grade with tenders painted across our chest to protest a less-than-ideal menu decision by the Flick Lunch program. We spent freshman year flipping each other's backpacks inside out through a process known as nuggeting. Junior year, we organized a school-wide water balloon fight, which involved around 5 minutes of throwing balloons and 30 minutes of cleaning them up. And this October, we shocked and possibly annoyed WJZ by filling their TV studio past capacity with painted-up seniors who just couldn't wait for some It's Academic action. We were always known for our antics, but at the end of the day, I like to think that we made it work. And I have a feeling that this school will find itself missing us and our shenanigans come next fall. Now, when I was preparing for this speech, I asked a few kids how they would describe our class. And I think that our four-year class president, Kyle Tarantino, put it best in just one word: personality. People in our society tend to put a lot of emphasis on results, so throughout your life, you're going to hear a lot about mind and body. Now, it's good to learn a lot, and it's great to be ripped. But I believe, and I think that my brothers would agree, that the most important aspect of Gilman's three-part philosophy is the final one: spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, our class embodies spirit. Every valedictorian mentions the kids with the greatest achievements, but right now, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the true characters. They gave us such incredible memories over these 4 years. So in the style made famous in Assembly this year, would the following students please stand to be recognized? Mac Frank Franklin. There he is. Frank is the heart and soul of the intramural basketball program, and he just can't wait for Friday. Alex Puthi Puthamana. There he is. Young Puth regaled the Model UN squad with his tips for looking good 24/7, and he looks to be a contender in the Indy 500 sometime in the near future. Ian Churchill. Church is the quintessential rowdy gentleman, and he loves sports so much that he wore a jacket and tie to this year's Gilman McDonough game. But we're not just characters. I like to think that we also display character. Character is all about growth, and I think we can all agree that the class of 14 has grown a lot over the years. To be honest, the class I entered in freshman year wasn't the most united. We played calculator games and dating Ariane on opposite sides of CT20, and a lot of us didn't even say hi to each other in the halls. But this year, something magical happened. We came together. We cried together when brothers left us. We hung out together in the senior room. We broke down each other's walls at senior retreat, and together, we finally realized that what divided us was trivial compared to what now unites us, our shared experience at Gilman. I'd like to tell you about one particular moment that I feel defines our class and our senior year. For those of you in the audience that might not know, Gilman does, in fact, have a water polo team. But up until October 1st, I don't think any students had been to a game. Our class decided to do something to change that. For the home game against our biggest athletic rival, McDonough, we decided to check out what this water polo business was all about. Storm the pool, did so much more than any of us could have imagined. Over a quarter of the student body marched into the swimming complex, bedecked in our finest swim trunks and most colorful Hawaiians, with pool noodles and flotation devices in hand. Our cheers filled the pool room for 2 whole hours, and I doubt that any of those who attended, much less water polo captain C.J. Roebuck, will ever forget what happened once the final whistle blew. Everyone in the stands ran out onto the deck and leaped into the pool. For a solid 15 minutes, we turned the water a frothy white in an ecstatic celebration of spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what the class of 14 is all about. I think that part of our sense of spirit stems from the extraordinary character demonstrated by individuals in our class, boys who displayed exceptional heart through tremendous effort and courage over the course of their Gilman career. Would the following students please stand to be recognized? Ellie Barangosi. Ellie left his home in the Democratic Republic of Congo only a year before coming to Gilman and made himself a new home in the United States where he not only survived but thrived. Now he is a wonderful classmate, masterful storyteller, and a terrific artist. Robert Law. Rob spent most of his first 12 years at Gilman making jokes under the radar, but he took a leap of faith and character this winter and auditioned for the spring musical Spamalot. Rob turned out to be one of the funniest actors our school has seen in years. And last but not least, Edward Brown. Ed Brown, the unrowdy gentleman, is in all seriousness the most kind and genuine human being I have ever had the pleasure of coming into contact with. And he has held our class to the highest standard of honor and decency purely by his example. I know that none of us would be the unique and spirited individuals we are today if it weren't for the care and support of everyone around us. So I'd like to thank all the people who've accomplished the unlikely feat of turning 113 goofy 14-year-olds into the outstanding men you see before you today. I'll start with the 2 most important people in my life, my parents, Colleen and Osman Guler. They dropped thousands of dollars to send me to this school for 4 years, which, as my father often points out, could have just as easily been spent on a new car. Thank you, 1998 Corolla, and thank you, Baba. I love you. But care and dedication doesn't end at home. Gilman School will be nothing without the incredible effort put in by the faculty who go the extra mile for us every day. Mr. Smyth, our headmaster, is a shining example of perhaps the most underappreciated of the Gilman 5, humility. He has more power than anyone else in the school, but always conducts himself in a polite and unassuming manner no matter who he's dealing with, and never takes himself too seriously. Eva Turner, head of upper school, has served Gilman for the past 19 years, and this ceremony ends her final year at Gilman. Miss Turner had to deal with a lot as head of the upper school, but she always approached each day with a smile. We'll all miss you next year, Miss Turner, and we wish you continued happiness wherever your journey takes you. The faculty at Gilman don't do it for the 2-figure salary they make. They do it because they love this community and truly care about each and every one of us. Here's an example. I never had Samuel Beespies as a teacher, and he never had any connection with the debate team. But on no minute's notice, he drove us to Park School, spent 2 hours judging a high school debate, and bought a delicious Subway sandwich for all of us. Thank you, Mr. Beespies. Even the staff at Gilman put in the effort and enthusiasm that make this place magical. I know he didn't want me to mention him today, but Darnell White of the custodial staff has played his iPod in the lunchroom every day for the last 3 years. I almost died of happiness, I think we all did, when he played everyone's favorite song, Levels. And I honestly can't imagine a silent lunch at Gilman. Now for you guys, the underclassmen, who are stepping up next year to be the school's new leaders, obviously I can't claim to be wise, so I'll share a couple of pieces of advice with you that I've picked up from the wisest person I know, my Uncle Joe Pacillo, who's here today. These are 2 simple, yet universal truths which I believe will serve you all well if you take them to heart. Here's the first. If you have to be a ditch digger, be the best ditch digger you can possibly be. Now, I hope I don't offend any of the ditch diggers out there in the audience, but the intricacies of land canal engineering are not the point of this adage. Gentlemen, life is not about your current situation, but the way you approach it. Nobody and nothing is beneath you. If you devote all of your time, energy, and most importantly, spirit to the task at hand, success and happiness will follow you. Which leads me to his second piece of advice. There's nothing past happy. I think Senior Aaron Gokaslin hit the nail on the head in his final senior speech. Do what you love, and I guarantee you that the happiness you receive will outweigh any external benefits that you can imagine. Follow your spirit and never sacrifice your character for anything. Now, like I said at the beginning, this speech is supposed to be about saying goodbye. But honestly, I just can't do that. I'm not saying goodbye, because I hope to see each and every one of you again next year and in the years to come. You see, when I leave these halls with memories I hold dear, I'm not leaving for good. I'll be back to have lunch with Dr. Thornberry. I'll get the boys back together and take over the senior room once more to blast some Juicy J. And you better believe I'll cheer my heart out at the 100th Gilman McDonough game. I might even paint up. No matter where we go and what we do in life, Gilman will always be a part of us. And we'll bleed blue and gray till the day we die. Thank you.
Each year at this time, we're fortunate to be able to present a series of awards to students. The names of the recipients of all the prizes have been printed in the commencement issue of the Gilman News, which will be available after this ceremony is concluded. Gilman's deeply, deeply grateful to all the families and individuals whose generosity and continued commitment to the school make these prizes possible and meaningful. And if you'll note in your program, you can see the wording, the citations for all of the different awards and what they stand for and what they celebrate. The William S. Thomas Scholarship Prizes for highest scholarship, emblematic of the first academic ranking in each class, have been provided by the will of Mr. William S. Thomas. Listed in your program are the names of the persons in whose honor, these prizes are given. And what I'd ask is that the following individuals who are this year's leading scholars in their respective classes come forward, and I'd ask the audience to refrain from applause until all of the names have been read. In the 9th grade, Andrew Hayes Eller. In the 10th grade, Luigi Nicholas Mangione. In the 11th grade, Simon James Everett. And in the 12th grade, Zachary Goldberg Rainan. Come forward, gentlemen. And the award to the top scholar for all 4 years in the upper school, the valedictorian, Timur Daniel Guler. The William Cabell Bruce Jr. Athletic Prize is awarded to that boy in one of the 4 upper classes most conspicuous for general proficiency in athletic sports and exercises over a 2-year period. It gives me great pleasure to present the award this year to an outstanding athlete and teammate, Samuel Gehrig Wankowitz. The Edward Fenimore Award is presented to that senior whose Gilman career has been marked by extraordinary courage, determination, perseverance, and accomplishment. These qualities were especially evident by Eddie Fenimore while he was a student at Gilman. It gives me great pleasure to present this award to Kulamushi Ellie Barangozi. Ellie. The Daniel Baker Jr. Memorial Award is given to a member of the graduating class who, through thoughtfulness and by reason of his life and character, has contributed to the general welfare of his fellow man. This year, it gives me pleasure to present the award to Zachary Goldberg Rainen. The Redmond C.S. Finney Award was established in 1992 in honor of Mr. Finney, who was headmaster of Gilman from 1968 until his retirement in 1992. It's given to that upper school student who has distinguished himself through action and example by encouraging harmony through his dedication to and practice of those human values necessary to eliminate racism, prejudice, and intolerance. This year, the award goes to 2 outstanding young men, Jeremy Roderick Hairston and Edward Brown III. The Peter Parrott Blanchard Award goes to that boy who, by his cheerful helpfulness in many ways, has greatly contributed to the successful and pleasant life of the school. The award always goes to a student who is considered especially helpful and sensitive to the needs of others. And this year the award goes to 2 outstanding young men who've contributed tremendously to the school over a long period of time. Tyler Alexander Wakefield and Kyle Angelo Tarantino. The William A. Fisher Medallion is awarded on the basis of scholarship, leadership, and character to a boy of high scholastic standing who, in the opinion of the faculty, has rendered the highest service to the school. And this year it's an honor to present the award to an outstanding leader and an outstanding young man, John Oyman Lee. Thanks, gentlemen. Congratulations. I now want to take a brief moment to recognize 5 faculty members who, at the end of this year, which is today, retiring and moving on from Gilman. And together they represent 102 years at Gilman alone of experience. Mr. Rob White, Ms. Claudia Friedel, Mr. Will Perkins, Mr. Leith Herman, and Ms. Eva Turner. Thank you for all that you've done for Gilman, and best of luck in your retirement. We also like to take time at the end of the year to celebrate particular milestones of service to Gilman for our faculty and staff. And earlier this week, we presented 20-year service plates to the following faculty and staff members: Lana Janian, John Lehman, Brooks Matthews, Nicholas Schloeder, Mark Hoffman, and Mi Wong. And a 30-year service plate was awarded to Ron Potter. And so for upper school faculty today, I'd like to do the same thing and present 4 plates, 3 to members of the faculty commemorating their 20th year of service to the school: Ian Brooks, Edward D. Harris, and William H. Perkins. Are they here? They can come forward. If they're here, they can come forward. And one more plate to be awarded for 30 years of service to Gilman: Johnny Lee Foreman, Jr. Johnny? At ceremonies earlier this month and throughout last week, we recognized a number of faculty members for special awards, and I'd like to acknowledge them now and read out their names and the awards they received, and I'd ask that everybody hold their applause until I've reached the end. For the Walter Lord Middle School Teaching Prize, Sean Byrne, and if these teachers could stand and be recognized while I read the names, that would be great. The Reapy Family Sabbatical, David Anderson. The Broadus Hubbard Award, Jim Morrison. The Class of 1947 Fund for Meritorious Teaching, Lisa Teeling. The Apgar Award for Teaching Excellence, Jill Landauer. The Edward T. Russell Chair, Lana Janian. The Gilman Advisor Award for the lower school, Adam Herb. And in the middle school, Joe Adams. And the Edward K. Dunn Faculty Award for the lower school, Amy Simon, and the middle school, Eric Marner. We have 4 awards to present to upper school faculty and faculty members today. And again, the citations for all of these awards are in your program. The Gilman Advisor Award was established by Mr. and Mrs. Stephen Scott, and the purpose of this award is to recognize faculty members who excel in the area of counseling and advising. And this year, we give the Upper School Award to Amy K. Huntoon. The Edward K. Dunn Faculty Award recognizes teachers who make an exceptional contribution to the development of character of students. This award was presented in the lower school and middle school earlier this week. And now I'd like to call up to the stage the upper school winner, John Rowell. The Dawson L. Farber Jr. Award is presented to the faculty member who is considered to have been the most helpful to his fellow teachers. And we're very pleased to present this award to an upper school and middle school and actually lower school faculty member, Christopher Flint. Thanks, Chris. And finally, the John K. and Robert F. M. Culver Chair is an endowed English faculty chair established by Rosalie Culver and Donald M. Culver, class of 43, in memory of his brothers John K. Culver, Jr., class of 34, and Robert F. M. Culver, class of 37, both of whom met untimely deaths. This award is given to a teacher of language arts who has demonstrated excellence in the teaching of English. It's a 2-year award, and we're very pleased to present it this year to Christopher Bladen Legg. Congratulations to all of the faculty and staff winners, plate receivers, and thanks to everything that you do, for everything that you do on behalf of all of the boys here at Gilman. It's now my pleasure to call to the podium Mr. Paul F. McBride, President of the Board of Trustees. This is Mr. McBride's last graduation as President of the Board. He is stepping down at the end of I guess, today. He also has a son graduating, his fourth of 4 boys graduating from Gilman. It has been a true pleasure in my 4 years to serve with Mr. McBride and his 4 years as the board chair. I cannot thank you enough for your support of me in those 4 years. I wish you all the best as you move forward, and we look forward to your words now. Thanks, Mr. McBride.
Good afternoon, members of the Gilman community. I'm going to follow maybe Timur's shout-outs here. Is that John Schmick in the back? And John, thank you for finding Mr. Smyth, and we appreciate everything you did. And Henry, congratulations on a great first year, and we appreciate the state of Gilman. I'm glad my fellow trustees are here with me to celebrate this day. And congratulations to members of the class of 2014. It's my pleasure to celebrate this important day with all of you. Yesterday, at the baccalaureate service, Scott Sherman, my fellow trustee, delivered a great message to these young men. He provided several words of wisdom, including the need for community service and giving back. By absolutely complete coincidence, Scott and I both selected an impactful quote from author, poet, and singer, Dr. Maya Angelou. And Dr. Maya once said, and Scott said this yesterday, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. An article last week in Forward magazine, written after Dr. Angelou's passing, related her quote, that quote I just mentioned, to corporate customer service experiences at companies like AT&T, Starbucks, and Apple stores. The takeaway from the Forbes article is that people remembered more about how they were treated at these customer service champions than even the product itself. We often say here at Gilman that our school is great because of its people. Take a look around. You may not remember every word in every lecture, but you will always remember how your teachers encouraged and supported you. You may not remember every dinner table conversation, but you always remember the love your parents gave you. You may not remember exactly why or how your best buddy made you laugh, but you will always remember that he did. Today marks the ending of the first chapter of your life, your high school career, your childhood. More importantly, today turns to a blank. The page turns to a blank in which you will fill the rest of your story. Remember how you feel right now. In a few short weeks, you will pack your bins and bags and depart for colleges and universities across the country. You will carry with you lessons learned from your teachers and your family, and it'll be up to you to apply those lessons in a manner befitting a Gilman graduate. Remember how you feel at that very moment your parents drive away, at that very moment your independent life begins. This beginning is just one of many you will face in your life. Many, of course, will be mundane. A new checking account, a new internet service provider. But more will be mind-blowingly life-altering. Perhaps a new spouse, a new baby. Remember how you feel the moment you say your vows or hold your child for the first time. I suggest you reflect on your Gilman values. You know them and hear about them a lot. Honor, respect, integrity, humility, excellence. Live them, treat people with them. These 5 values will help you connect positively with those you touch. Always strive to leave others with a positive impression. Your personal energy can motivate those around you. When you act with these 5, people will recall how you make them feel because you treated them with dignity, understanding, and esteem. On a personal note, today's ceremony is special to me, as it is for each parent here today. As I am also a parent, one of these boys sitting on the stage, my son, number 4. I know personally so many of you, my son's classmates, teammates, and friends. It has been my privilege to get to know many of these young men better because of my role as a parent. It has been my pleasure to watch all of you over the last several years. It has been equally rewarding for my wife Chris and me to know so many of the families celebrating here today. It seems as if for our family, we've leapt overnight from 1999, when our boys first began school at Gilman, to Founders Day 2014. Parents, whether your graduating son has been at Gilman for 13, 12, 7, or 4 years, and whether he is your only son or your youngest, we all have shared a common journey throughout this wonderful school. To those families whose last child is also graduating from Gilman today, we have all made it. To all parents, thank you for entrusting your sons to Headmaster Smyth, Eva Turner, and the rest of their great team. Members of the class of 2014, your future paths, though bright, are likely not clear at this point in your lives. They can't be in today's unique world. And some of you may pursue professions we can't even at this time imagine. Yet we are optimistic because we know you will practice the many lessons you have learned at home and at this excellent school. I can't tell you how many times alumni of all different backgrounds have told me that their Gilman experience change their lives. I hope and trust you can realize the same. I sense that each of you in the class of 2014 feels great today, and your family and friends share the sentiment. I realize, as Dr. Angelo cautioned, you probably won't remember much of what I say. So my final advice, be persistent in all that you do. Remain steadfast to who you are as a man and to what and whom you love most. Deploy the Gilman 5 at every turn. These actions will help people consistently remember and appreciate how you make them feel. Congratulations, good luck, and thank you very, very much.
So now I want to introduce 4 seniors: Greg Alspaugh, Sean Costello, Melton Dickens, and CJ Roebuck. These 4 who are graduating today are also members of the Traveling Men, and they'll perform a Traveling Men adaptation of a 17th century traditional Scottish air, which they've entitled The Parting Song.
Of all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm I've ever done, alas, it was to none but me.
And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall.
So sing to me the parting song. Good night and joy be to you all. So sing to me the parting song, and pray for health whate'er befall. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all.
Of all the comrades that e'er I had,
they're sorry for my going away, and all the sweethearts that e'er I've had, they wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should go and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. So sing to me the parting song, and pray for health whate'er befall. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Good night and joy be to you all.
So there's something about diplomas in this kind of ceremony. Fellows, now is the time you've been waiting for. We've all been waiting for, and I'm going to ask Ms. Turner and Mr. McBride to join me in presenting the diplomas to the graduating class of 2014.
Adam Hamilton Aced. Gregory Rayner Alspaugh. Luis Horacio Arasola. Peter Richardson Awalt. Brendan Ross Barger. Kulumusi Eli Barangozi. Blake Edward Benfield. Chad Ryan Blackman. Edward Brown III. Peter Rust Brown. Chase Willis Worthington Campbell. Aaron Benjamin Carroll. Wilson Michael Kaspari. Robert Louis Sistello. Samuel Chunya Chan. Brian Yenren Chu. Ian David Churchill. Eli Floyd Clemens. Sean Michael Costello. Kevin Connor Devine. Meldon DeMonte Dickens II. Gabriel Townsend Donner. Thomas Michael Enzer. Nicholas Dominic Ferretti. Haswell McCullough Franklin III. Patrick Brennan Gallagher. Andrew Clark Gemma. Pierre Jean-Henri Germain. Andrew Meyer Glick. Aaron Karem Gokazlan. Matthew Lawrence Gross. Timur Daniel Guler. Jeremy Roderick Hairston. James McFadden Hansen. John Thomas Harris. Cameron Marlowe Helm. Sheldon Dwayne Johnson, Jr. James Peter Candell. Melvin Menny Kane. Edmund Sukun Kim. Sungjun Kim. Christopher Shea Kohler. Philip Jaehun Kwan. Teo James Thompson Leska. Andrew Jean Lee. Casey Boram Lee. Fitzhugh Dickinson Lee. John Oyman Lee. Wayman Lee. Lenan Liu. John Edgar Locke. Robert Carty Lore. Tejas Arun Mavanur. Arian Malik Mayo. William Jason McBride. Luke Stephen McNamara. Ikenna Ugo and Jaco. Matthew Edmundo O'Brien. Sean Edward O'Donnell. Robert Katrin Palkovitz. Andrew Hunsung Park. Williams Worthington Calvert Peters. Garrett Alexander Pfeiffer II. Ryan Austin Pistorio. Vincent Robert Posterly. Alexander Stephen Puthamana. Zachary Goldberg Rainan. Donald Chet Ratcliffe. Bijan Keith Rett. Wiley Carew Rice. William Glenn Richardson. Thomas Hunter Riley. Patrick Allen Riorda. Benjamin Carter Robbins. Charles John Roebuck. William Lawrence Rosenfield. Tyler Robert Rule. Henry Lee Schmidt. Gavin Crawford Sheets. William David Sherman. Richard Min Shin. Matthew Conrad Sludzinski. Joseph Matthew Smeaton. Alexander Song. Taylor Armstead Swindell. Theodore Evan Swindell. Alexander Leon Saitov. Kyle Angelo Tarantino. Coleman Anthony Tironi. Trevor Barrington Tomlinson. Richard Bryson Cumming Tucker III. Chibuzo Bryant Ukendu. Angud Singh Upal. Akhil Venkat Upalapati. Jordan Frederick Wagman. Tyler Alexander Wakefield. Samuel Gehrig Wankowitz. Hugh Spencer Ward. Thomas Rogers Washburn, Jr. Dale Alan Waters III. Corey Alexander Watson. Garrett Lawrence Weinstein. Robert Paul Wilhelm III. Benjamin Robert Williams. Huntington Williams IV. Alexander Shenuit Witherspoon. Chase Arendez Thwittick. Jacob Ryan Wall. Dorsey August Yearly. Duncan Nicholas Yu. Eli Gabriel Euro. Michael Jacob Zunkler. Congratulations, class of 2014.
And it's been a real pleasure coming through the upper school with y'all. Before we conclude with the hymn and the benediction, I remind everybody that the graduates, trustees, faculty, and staff will recess immediately following the benediction. But before we get to that, let's have one more round of applause for the class of 2014. Please rise for the singing of the school hymn, O God our help in ages past. It's printed in the program, and the traveling men will lead us. And then please remain standing for the benediction and the recession.
O God our help in ages past, our hopes for years to come, our shelter from the stormy blast, and our eternal home. Before the hills in order stood, or earth received her frame, from everlasting thou art God, to endless years the same. O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come. Be thou our guide while life shall last, and our eternal home.
O God, our help in ages past, on this glorious day we ask your blessing in a special way on this class of 2014. As you have been our help in ages past, be their help in ages hence, their hope in years to come. Be their light, their comfort, and their strength through life's hills and valleys, life's joys and sorrows, life's calm and storm. Bless them as they now take the light they found here, the light of parents, teachers, coaches, friends, and family, out to a world that desperately needs that light. And may they never forget that in tuo lumine lumen, in your light is light itself, a divine light reflected and shared so generously by so many over these years, a light that has enabled them to grow strong and tall in mind, body, and spirit, a light that they now are called to be and to become. Esto lux, be the light, become the light in our world, today and always. Amen.
Headmaster, sir, may I escort the graduates of 2014 out, please?
You may.